Formaji YouTube video k lia oper jo tum ny story lik kdhs k oper tai men strong hook lik k do. Hook jandar. Suspenseful our curiosity si barpor hona chaye k mary vauer engage ho jn our video ko ntk deken the old clock. The old clock stood in the corner of the room. Its wooden body looked swollen with age. Dust clung to its carved edges like dried skin. The ticking sounded louder than it should. Each tick pressed against the walls. Each tock felt closer to my ears. The room smelled of damp wood and rusted metal. The air felt heavy, as if it was watching me breathe. I stepped closer to the clock. The floor creaked under my weight. The ticking stopped. Silence filled the room too suddenly. My heartbeat became the only sound. I reached out and touched the glass door. It felt cold, colder than the room. My reflection stared back at me. My eyes looked unfamiliar. A faint scratching came from inside the clock. It sounded slow and deliberate. The pendulum began to move again. Not side to side, up and down. The clock hands started spinning backward. The room grew darker with each turn. The smell of rust became stronger. I heard breathing that was not mine. It came from behind the clock face. The glass fogged from the inside. A shadow pressed against it. The ticking returned. Faster now. Each tick matched the rhythm of my pulse. The wooden door of the clock began to open by itself. The hinges screamed softly. Something inside shifted closer to the opening. The air turned icy against my skin. I tried to step back. My feet refused to move. A pale hand slowly reached out from the darkness. Its fingers were bent at the wrong angles. The ticking stopped again. The hand wrapped around my wrist. The clock chimed once. The room tilted forward. The darkness inside the clock expanded outward. And I felt myself being pulled toward the hollow space where time no longer sounded the same. The grip tightened around my wrist. The skin of the hand felt dry and thin. It felt stretched over something sharp underneath. Cold spread from the touch into my arm. My fingers went numb one by one. The clock chimed again. The sound echoed inside my head. The room twisted slightly to the left. The walls seemed farther away. The ceiling felt lower than before. I tried to scream. No sound came out. The air pressed against my throat. The hand pulled harder. My body leaned toward the open clock. The darkness inside it looked deep and endless. It smelled of old metal and wet stone. The ticking returned from inside the darkness. It sounded uneven now, like footsteps on broken ground. My feet finally moved, but they moved forward. The floor beneath me felt soft. It felt like walking on packed dirt. The wooden frame of the clock brushed against my shoulder. The wood felt warm, too warm for something so old. The glass door swung fully open. The face of the clock stared down at me. The numbers looked distorted. They stretched and bent like melting wax. The minute hand pointed straight at my chest. The scratching sound returned. It came from all sides now. From inside the clock. From behind the walls. From beneath the floor. The darkness inside the clock shifted. Shapes moved within it. They had no clear edges. They slid against each other slowly. The hand on my wrist pulled me closer. My arm crossed the edge of the clock frame. The air inside felt thick. Breathing became harder. Each breath tasted like dust and iron. The ticking grew louder again. It no longer matched my heartbeat. It was faster. Impatient. I felt something brush against my leg. Then another touch against my back. Cold fingers traced along my spine. My muscles locked in place. The shadow behind the clock face pressed outward again. A face began to form in the glass. It looked familiar. Too familiar. It had my eyes. But they were hollow. The mouth opened slightly. No sound came from it. The clock chimed a third time. The sound felt heavier. It vibrated through my bones. The room behind me faded. Colors drained from the walls. The corners dissolved into darkness. Only the clock remained clear. The hand on my wrist released suddenly. I stumbled forward. Both hands pressed against the inside of the clock. The surface felt uneven, like stone carved by time. The glass door slammed shut behind me. The sound cut through the ticking. Light disappeared almost completely. A faint glow came from the clock hands above. They hovered in the darkness. Moving slowly now. The scratching turned into whispers. They spoke in a language I did not understand. Yet the meaning felt clear. They were counting. Each number sank into my mind. My chest tightened with every count. The space around me felt smaller. The walls pressed inward. I reached out in the dark. My fingers brushed against another hand. It recoiled instantly. Then more hands appeared. They touched my arms, my shoulders, my neck. Each touch felt colder than the last. The whispers grew louder. The counting became faster. The clock hands above spun again. Backward, then forward, then backward once more. The ground beneath me shifted. It tilted downward. I slid forward slightly. The darkness ahead deepened. A low hum filled the space. It vibrated through my teeth. The glow from the clock hands flickered. Shadows leapt across the walls. Faces appeared and vanished. All of them looked like mine. All of them watched silently. The whispers stopped at once. Silence returned. It felt sharp. The ticking slowed. One tick. One talk. Very far apart. Something moved in front of me. I felt its presence before I saw it. The air grew colder again. A tall shape emerged from the darkness. It stood directly in my path. Its outline blended with the shadows. The ticking stopped completely. The glow vanished. And the shape leaned closer as the space behind me began to close inward, tightening like a slowly turning gear that refused to stop moving. The shape stopped moving. The pressure around me